And now we are down to 2. Who will lift the USL Championship trophy? Welcome to All Talk, All USL Talk. USL covering the latest scores, news, developments in the second highest division of the United States men's professional soccer system, the USL Championship. I'm your host, as always, Vince Galvano. Happy Monday, November 17, 2025, episode 75, episode 36 of season 2, Talk USL. Everywhere our podcasts are available, everywhere on socials at Talk USL. You can always write to me at talkuslchampionship@gmail.com. This week, we get to break down the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. Pittsburgh took on Rhode Island. Tulsa took on New Mexico. Two contrasting styles, unforgettable nights. Two teams ultimately that had to punch their tickets to the championship stage. Pittsburgh's been hot defensively. Tulsa, a relentless press. What does it take to break through after years of just going at it? Both these sides and so forth. We'll talk Rhode Island. We'll talk New Mexico as well. Also, get your popcorn out. We have the all-league teams, first and second available. We have end-of-season awards officially, nominees. All of this coming out this week in terms of who will win and who will come out victorious with their own little, trophies, personal trophies at least. And then some major news out of Oakland Roots and Monterey Bay regarding a little bit of the change in management at the high helm and so forth. But I'm very excited. If, first time listening to the show, if you're back, make sure you review it. I would certainly appreciate that as we look to wrap up almost what would be season 2 of Talk USL. It's been a tremendous season, and we're going to get into it now, breaking down Pittsburgh and Rhode Island. Then we'll talk Tulsa. We will talk also New Mexico. We'll talk about the last time the two finalists now coming up have played each other and how many of the current players are still in the team, which is crazy. Who made the first team All-League? Who made the second team All-League? We're going to talk also those. Shout out a couple of names there. Coach of the Year we talk about. Man, so much to get into and more. Let's get into it. Starting first, Pittsburgh taking on Rhode. We'll start with the eastern side of the things. Before we jump into this specific recap, let's set the stage a bit, because for Pittsburgh, this moment has been 15 years in the making. The last time the Riverhounds were one win away from the final, the league was completely different. Like, only 6 teams in the entire postseason, and Pittsburgh fell short in semifinal to Richmond back in 2009. Fast forward to today, club is hosted, I should say, the first ever Eastern Conference final at a packed Highmark Stadium. Steel Army was louder and has been louder than ever. And, last weekend's record crowd was broken this time around against Rhode Island, which is great. It's a long road to get here. The early USL Championship years were rough. They snuck into the playoffs, lost in the opening round, conceding goals in bunches. Even after Highmark, the stadium opened, Pittsburgh couldn't quite find the formula. That changed when Bob Lilly, as we know, came into the Hounds, into one of the most league's consistent defensive teams, even during those Player Shield seasons, 2019-2023. Playoff heartbreak struck again with gut punch home losses. But this year, bounces finally falling their way. Pittsburgh reached the conference final against Rhode Island here without scoring a single goal in the postseason, riding a ridiculous 422 minutes shutout streak and shutting out Hartford and Detroit to a combined 0.71 expected goals. It's combined. Interim head coach, we know at the moment, Rob Vincent. No Lilly at the moment, right? It's Rob Vincent who's the interim head coach. May have not envisioned winning this way, but group organized confidence, peaked defensively at the right time. All of this happening during a banner year off the pitch, with the club announcing plans to expand their Highmark Stadium to 15,000 seats. Massive step for the franchise. You want to talk about plans for the franchise? Take no look also for Rhode Island. You know what I mean? For them to come back after their inaugural season, Centerville Bank Stadium, boom, they have a new stadium this year. They're back in the Eastern Conference Finals on a whim, you can arguably say, considering their regular season record and so forth. But man, oh man, Danny Griffin, you talk about some landmarks in this Pittsburgh team. Danny Griffin, certainly one of them. Saying the squad is buzzing. Confidence is real, and home field advantage. You would never think that would be the case with Louisville and Charleston both bowing out already. The fact that they're here, the conference finals, hosting, boom, 90 minutes away. Craziness, which is just, awesome to see. But hey, we'll break this game down. We'll talk starting lineups from Pittsburgh side of things. Eric Dick in between the pipes. Back three of Edrak, Suber, and Biazzi. Midfield four. At two on the left, Sample and Griffin in the middle. Barnes on the right. Mertz on the left side. Williams in the center of the attacking three. And all on the right side as well. For Rhode Island side of things, Koke Vegas in between the pipes. A back five. Sanchez on the left. Jupp, Yao, Nodarcy, and Shapiro Thompson, the one completing it on the right. Four midfielders, Quizera on the right side, Bacharach in the middle, Ibarra in the middle, Fuson on the left, and then up top, J.J. Williams, Kano Smith, the head coach, Rob Vincent, interim head coach then for Pittsburgh. And let's get into it because it was a record-breaking crowd. 745 was the sort of last three-digit number, so 6,745, so 525 people more than last week. And record-breaking already for Highmark, battling for the Eastern Conference crown. The defending champions for Rhode Island struck first in terms of danger. They tested Pittsburgh early in this one. Fuson forced an Eric Dick into a sharp parry, left hand at the near post on the ensuing corner. Bacharach's flicked header whistled just over the bar. And that was pretty much it for Rhode Island because then the Hounds, patient, poised, they waited for the chance. They were quite disciplined in their attack. They were quite structured as well. They broke the lines, especially finding some threading balls in between the midfield. And it nearly arrived, by the way, in the 35th minute. Danny Griffin broke through on a clever 1-2. Rhode Island's Koke Vegas came up with the superb one-on-one save because he was looking to scoop it over, just bouncing half volley right over the goalkeeper. Boom. There is Koke Vegas. He swats it down. And then in the first half, that's pretty much it. It ends 0-0. Second half then opens with both sides posing for the breakthrough. Rhode Island's J.J. Williams sending a stretching effort just over the crossbar. Augie Williams responded moments later by curling just a shot wide from an impossible angle in the half volley. But then the 55th minute, the deadlock broke. A loose ball at the top of the box fell kindly to Griffin, who set up Robbie Mertz in the right channel. The Pittsburgh native went from right to left, and then Bacharach pretty much just slips up a little bit. So that prompts him to go back to his favorite foot, shoots the shot, takes the deflection, sending Vegas the wrong way, and the ball punctures the back of the net, and Highmark Stadium erupts, going berserk. And it's just like, holy smokes, the momentum, the intensity is palpable through the stands onto that field. I'm sure it was a cold Pittsburgh night as well. But tension mounted then. Rhode Island pushed forward, but soon found themselves in deeper trouble. Former Hound Mark Ibarra picking up a second yellow card on the hour mark with his studs showing on a tackle, reducing the visitors to 10 men. And cue InSync bye on the main speakers when that happened. But yet even shorthanded, it's crazy. They get a breakaway to J.J. Williams on the counter. Eric Dick comes off, delivers a game-saving block with 16 minutes to play. Eric Dick was not done. He let full stretch minutes later to deny Hamdi Diop's curling free kick from the edge of the area, sticking to the near post, right? Not being tempted too much to go to his left. And then Pittsburgh having a chance to finish it off in stoppage time. Larson, whose shot was stopped by Vegas. Fuson nearly stole the spotlight for Rhode Island with a curling strike that just cleared the crossbar. And that was pretty much the final whistle blows. And it was all black and gold. The city celebrating its first USL Championship Eastern Conference title and a long-awaited trip to the league final. Mertz's magic, Dick's heroics, Pittsburgh 1-0 win over Rhode Island to claim the Eastern Conference crown. Local hero making a historic moment. Pittsburgh native Mertz scored the club's first postseason goal of 2025. The Hounds have now gone 512 minutes without conceding. Despite being down a man though, Rhode Island, they did push in the final half hour, and they did have some good looks. It's just it wasn't meant to be. The red card swinging momentum fully in Pittsburgh favor. So Pittsburgh advancing to its first USL Championship final in club history, capping a storybook postseason run, and they are your Eastern Conference champions of 2025. So what finally unlocked Pittsburgh attack after two straight scoreless playoff draws? I think it was just, the bubble can only grow so long until it finally bursts. They trust their system. They just waited for the right moment, disciplined, kind of straightforward in their attack, very safe, very secure, keeping things compact where needed, right? And the timing of defection just broke the drought. It was just being right place, right time, and taking what was ahead of you in terms of an advantage. 3 saves in the night for Koke Vegas. Both keepers played tremendous in that one. Nicholas Murray with a bit of the coverage there, adapted from there. Obviously, the man when it comes to all these recaps. So we'll talk Tulsa and New Mexico, but congratulations to Pittsburgh and also to Rhode Island for making it this far again on a win. We'll see what happens as next season rolls around and that you're fresh off Centerville Bank Stadium and you have back-to-back Eastern Conference final appearances. Really, really solid stuff as well. Tulsa taking on New Mexico United. Let's preview this one. Start with the Scissors Tails, who have ridden their direct, high-pressure, low-possession approach the best season in club history and a place at the top of the West. One of the most remarkable stories of the season per Opta. Head coach Luke Spencer of FC Tulsa averaged the second lowest possession mark in the league, 43.6%. Recorded the fewest passes of any team in the league in the regular season, 8,560. Approximately 20% of those considered long passes, 1,749. That mark was only surpassed by the team who averaged less possession per game. Who is it in D11? Only they've got interior defensive third. The decisions make it as difficult as possible to leave. Tulsa ranks second in the league when it came to winning possession in the attacking third, doing so 125 times. Get through in there, and there are still traps to navigate. The side one possession midfield, 496, more than its own defensive third, 445. So how does New Mexico compare? Because, I mean, it's clearly paid off dividends, and we see it so much so in this match with Tulsa pressing high and winning possession really high up in the field in the first two defensive thirds. The opposition's defensive third and the middle third of the pitch. Take a look at this, though. New Mexico, highest average possession mark in the season at 60.9% per game, recording the second most passes in the league, 14,835, an average of almost 500 per game, which only 10% approximately would be considered long passes. The side also ranks second last in the league in possession won in the final third, doing so on 70 occasions, second last, while winning possession 47.5% of the time in its own defensive third. So a team that likes to have the ball predominantly right, that takes in their shape and really commits to winning challenges in their own defensive third versus a team in Tulsa that are pressing high pitch, right? Very relentless. Also don't really need to have a lot of possession, but rather we'll wait and see what the mistake is. So, hey, let's get into this now. Massive club record sellout at One Oak Field. FC Tulsa, 9,180 in attendance for this one, by the way, at One Oak Field. Tulsa came out swinging in the Western Conference Final. From the opening whistle, you can feel the tension tilt heavily towards the host. That home field advantage, high press causing chaos immediately, creating their first dangerous sequence off of long throw that forced Chris Shakes into an early save. Moments later, New Mexico's attempt to play out of the back nearly unraveled entirely as Taylor Calhera and El Medcar pounced on turnovers only to be denied in rapid succession. The Scissor Tails just kept turning the screws. 26-minute free kick scramble nearly gave them the breakthrough as Lamar Batista improvised a clever backheel in the 6 with the ball bouncing that slipped past the keeper only for Kalen Ryden to perform goal line heroics and clear the ball out. Tulsa's pressure finally paid off before halftime. New Mexico trying yet again to build out from the back. Alex DeLoe stepped in to pick off a pass from the goalkeeper, Chris Shakes, who should have really went to his right in all honesty. But hey, you get so used to playing possession and maybe making the cutting pass. No, DeLoe picks it off, quickly feeds Jamie Weber. He slips the ball to Calhera. Calhera dribbles it closer towards the penalty spot, past Chris Shakes, and then proceeds to smash it home in between two New Mexico defenders. And boom, just like that, the place erupts. 1-0 going to the half. New Mexico had been held without a single shot through the first 45 minutes, but the first look of the second half really changed everything. Diego Bailey made a cutback with a first-time strike, only for Batista to make a tremendous block with his right calf and block it wide. He was pumped up afterwards. And I've been in those positions too. When you make a block in a game that should be going in, it's a great feeling. I don't know why he's flexing like Mario Balotelli inside the 6. But the lifeline didn't last long. 5 minutes later, Tulsa striking again from another long throwing. A bouncing ball fell to Ian, who lifted it over, and then was stopped on the line by Bailey. Calhera lunging it to smash it home. Not even, just kind of just pushing in over the nets in the last it was right there bouncing. I mean, look, Chris Shakes came off the line. slew of bodies, like got fingertips to pounce it back down, but it was chaos in that box. They were just pouncing nonstop. It was relentless. United tried to claw back, nearly did. Dejon Harris cracked the crossbar midway through the half. They found a lot of success, New Mexico United, taking that ball on the right side, cutting it in across the box and having a first-time shot. But Tulsa kept being relentless. 14 minutes to play, they put the match beyond doubt. I mean, their throw-ins in the offensive third was superb. They decided to go short, lays off. DeLow threading a clever through ball into the right channel. Weber timed his run perfectly and then just shoots it low and hard. Pass shakes. Tulsa makes it 3-0. Most dominant win of the postseason at exactly the right moment. Tulsa rolls New Mexico 3-0 to capture the Western Conference title, reach the USL Championship final, and also have hosting rights against Pittsburgh. So there you have it. 19 shots in the night for Tulsa. Shots on target were not listed, but multiple reference. I think what would happen here, expected goals 3.17. Final third turnovers forced 8. Take a look at that. Remain unbeaten when scoring first, 17-0-3 this season. Home record when scoring first, 11-0-1. Nicholas Murray, the author there. So, mark your calendars, ladies and gentlemen. CBS on Saturday, November 22nd, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. That's right, FC Tulsa will host Pittsburgh Riverhounds in 2025 USL Championship Final. Western Conference champions FC Tulsa hosting, also the number 1 seed of the tournament in the West, taking on Pittsburgh Riverhounds, visiting there at One Oak Field. It's going to be electric. We'll see what happens. I mean, if you look back, the last time these two had played was back in May of 2024. It was a 2-2 draw. Tulsa, opened the scoring in that game with Philip Goodrum, leading, also, fouled at the edge of the box in the 10th minute, leading to an own goal off the keeper's head in the 11th. Yellow cards had Pac Hoban. They had Stefan Stoyanovich back in the day, right? It was a physical opening stretch. Bubkar Diallo doubled the lead. More yellow cards came, this time from Pittsburgh side. Edward Keitsa, Bradley Sample back then. So Tulsa led 2-0 at halftime back in May 2024. Griffin pulled one back for Pittsburgh in the 63rd minute. Both teams made a lot of substitutions. There was more yellow cards as well. It was quite a chippy affair. Then it was Kazea Sterling who equalized late, who scored while colliding with Tulsa keeper Michael Creek to make it 2-2. If you look back to those starting 11, when Pittsburgh took on Tulsa back in May 2024, only 4 players from Pittsburgh still playing with the team right now in the tournament. Junior Eto'o, Luke Biazzi, Robbie Mertz, and Bradley Sample. From Tulsa's side of things, only 2 players. That's Alex DeLow and Arthur Rogers. Arthur Rogers still with Tulsa, but did have a season-ending injury earlier in the summer in August, so not available for selection here or during any of the postseason for that matter, right? But hey, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens because Tulsa is a team that thrives on pressure, verticality, chaos, right? They shift between 5-2-3, 5-4-1, 5-1-3-1, depending on the opponent. Even with injuries a little bit, they've kept the structures sharp. Sweeping New Mexico this year, haven't lost them since 2023. The big lineup decision in the final will be whether Spencer anchors the midfield with Pierre or opts for a more attacking pivot with Coley and Weber. That's really what you want to look at when it comes to how Tulsa shape up. And then if you look at Pittsburgh's sides of things, Pittsburgh, they have discipline. Tulsa creates chaos. Pittsburgh imposes discipline. Riverhounds and Rhode Island combined for 0 goals allowed in the 450 playoff minutes. Now it's even more so with the Riverhounds. And Pittsburgh have advanced thanks to their structure, concentration. They create overloads in 3-1-5-1. It forces defenders to chase runners, open seams around the box. Their biggest concern, though, is just scoring. They've taken 29 shots in the playoffs and only produced 0.96 expected goals on target prior to taking on Rhode Island. I mean, that's the thing. But compactness defensively is elite. So this is going to be very interesting. The final becomes really a battle of the opposites. Tulsa wants to provoke mistakes. Pittsburgh wants to control with structure. And, where the game tilts, expect the final for me, at least, looking as well in terms of what John Morrissey says from USL Tactics. He's very smart when it comes to breaking down these teams. It's like, okay, Tulsa's press, Pittsburgh's ability to escape it, Pittsburgh's overloads, Tulsa's flexible back 5. I think there are 2 things as well. And then which team finishes one of the few clear chances, especially if Tulsa scores first, I think it's it. I think that is pretty much it. But this game more goes 0-0. And honestly, what Pittsburgh should do is play long to start the game. Really try to stretch out Tulsa, play behind their lines, It's going to be a chippy affair. I think there'll be a lot of cards. I don't think it'll be the most nice of games, but it's a final. You just wait for the moments. This is going to be gritty. It's going to be low scoring, I think. There's going to be a lot of physical midfield battles. There's going to be a lot of set pieces. There's going to be a lot of throw-ins. And we're just going to see if Pittsburgh's able to move that possession high up the field and then really get comfortable on the ball in Tulsa. That's the question. Tulsa have to come out like a house of fire. I'll say it again. They have to come out like a house of fire in this one and really put Pittsburgh on their heels, just like they did to New Mexico, and then hope to get that goal within that opening half an hour mark. Otherwise, the more Pittsburgh get comfortable and grow into the game, it's going to go against Tulsa. So it's going to be very interesting to see, and I'm very excited. So props to both teams. Good luck. If you're a fan of them, congratulations. If you're going to the game, would love to hear it. And yeah, again, it'll be this Saturday upcoming at 12 p.m. Eastern on CBS. We're back to national television. Okay, shift it over to all league team as well as the individual awards that'll be determined this week. So let's shout out. Quickly announced, this was also quite recent, the 2025 USL Championship all league teams. Shout out to a few standout names that absolutely shaped the season. I'll do 3 from the first team, 2 from the second team. But let's start with the first team. We got to begin with Louisville, because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Louisville players on that team for the first team all league. The Golden Glove in between the pipes, Damian Lass, putting up video game numbers this year, 0.70 goals against, 10 shutouts, 80% save percentage. Dominance. Scary part, still young, still getting better. He was the number 1 anchor behind the best defensive unit in the league. Elsewhere in that defense, it's a 4-3-3 formation. You have Kyle Adams, you have Joshua Jones, you have Aiden McFadden as well. Sean Zuber from Pittsburgh had made the final cut for first team all league. In that one, if you look at the midfield, well, let's talk about the heartbeat of it. Charleston, Aaron Malloy, year after year, the Irishman, one of the most technically clean players in the championship. 2025, no different, leading the entire league in passes, completed over 2,000 of them with more than 90% accuracy, at 6 assists, 2 goals, and elite ball winning numbers. It's no surprise this is his 4th straight first team selection. He's basically the gold standard for USL number 6. And then we got one of the stories of the year in the front 3. And we have an FC Tulsa player. The other 2 midfielders are Taylor Davila, Louisville, and then Juan David Torres of Charleston. Then, boom, front 3, Taylor Calhera of FC Tulsa, Cal Jennings of Charleston, and then you have the arguably one of the surprises of the season, Golden Boot winner Peter Wilson from Oakland Roots. That's right, 18 goals, scoring in 8 straight matches to tie a league record. Oakland had a late season push. Doesn't happen without his hot streak. He instantly became one of the league's most clinical finishers in that time. A massive season for him in Oakland. And just props to him for making it and representing Oakland in one of these top 2 teams. Then we get to the second team. Tulsa completely reinvented themselves this season. And Lamar Batista at the center of it, 176 duels, logged 164 clearances, 6'5", force in the air, but he cleans up mistakes and organized the back line all year. He makes the second team, along with Jack Gurr from Sacramento, Talon Maples from New Mexico, Sean Tosh from Louisville, and then in between the pipes, of course, Danny Vidiello. If it's not Eric Dick, if it's not Damian Lass, it's Danny Vidiello. He's there. Midfield 3, let's talk. Midfield 3, Aiden Quinn from Indy 11, Jorge Hernandez from San Antonio, and Hope Abayevu from Phoenix. Front 3, one person else to shout out here, MD Myers of Charleston, one of the most efficient forwards in the league, 15 goals, 4 assists, and a ridiculous 66% shooting accuracy, the highest among any double-digit scorer. Charleston's attack was terrifying this year. Myers, great compliment to Cal Jennings up top. Both had smart movement, clean finishing, constant danger in the box. And also, don't forget, you have 2 other players in there. Miami side of things, Francisco Bonifilia was superb this season. You look all the way back, especially middle of the season, Miami, when they did have a good run of form, he was always at the heart of it. Then, look at the young Egyptian, Abdelatif Abukara from Loudoun. When Loudoun were just coming out really solid so far, when you look at, obviously, what had been transpired this season, making to the postseason, but a big part of that was their performance in the beginning in March and April, and Abukara was at the center there. So that is the second team and the first team all league from USL, officially voted for by panel experts. and company. Let's get into then your finalists for some of the we can say goalkeeper of the defender of the year, coach of the year, young player of the year, and so forth. Starting first with goalkeeper of the year, winner will be announced Tuesday, November 18th. Voting for these awards are done by club management and league-wide media panel, not fan voting. So here are your finalists. Damian Loss, obviously on there. Danny Vitiello. But who's the third keeper? I mentioned Eric Dick, but actually it goes to Koke Vegas. He's third on that list. Most likely Loss will come out with it. We'll see what happens. Defender of the year winner, Tuesday, November 18th. You have Kyle Adams, Joshua Jones, and Sean Suber. Jones and Adams are from Louisville, Suber from Pittsburgh. This we know. Coach of the year winner will be announced Wednesday, November 19th. That'll be Brendan Burke of Hartford Athletic, Danny Cruz of Louisville City, and Luke Spencer of FC Tulsa. 3 really solid options. You can make a case for all 3. Young player of the year. Well, this will be very interesting. Abdelatif Abukra, Loudoun United FC, but don't forget Mamadou Dieng, Hartford player that was really doing a great job and actually attracted interest from the MLS from Minnesota and had to make the transition to the MLS towards the tail end of the season. Finn Sundstrom from North Carolina is the other. Then you have player of the year, Peter Wilson from Oakland Roots on the list, Cal Jennings from Charleston, and Taylor Davila from Louisville City FC. A few of these finalists, obviously Vegas, Suber, and Spencer will be in action during they were in action during the conference finals when they announced it, but now all we have left is Luke Spencer and Sean Suber. That's pretty much it when it comes to coaches and so forth and all the individual awards, but just also some changes, more changes coming in management from Monterey Bay and Oakland. And then we'll round out this episode. But from Monterey Bay's side, they named Oliver Reese the chairman and chief soccer officer. He's been a long-time USL executive as chairman and chief soccer officer as well. Wiss previously oversaw global football development for the USL, key in rolling out the league's groundbreaking promotion relegation upcoming Division I league. It's a big signal of ambition from Monterey Bay announcing Oliver Wiss because he's got a proven builder of winning clubs. He led Orange County to the USL Championship title in 2021, grew their attendance, academy pipeline, international reach. Global network comes with him. He's helped establish partnerships with the Dutch club Feyenoord, and also you have Rangers FC, the Scottish club, the kind of relationships that bring in young talent, create real transfer revenue. So expect Monterey Bay to become even more active in the global market, and that fits the USL's new direction. So he had a hand in the Division I, shaping it. Monterey Bay putting a seasoned architect in charge during a transformative era for the league could be very, very ideal. He said that the club is ideally positioned, in quote, to develop top quality players, compete for trophies, and deepen its identity in the 8-3-1. That's about as bold as statements get. So we'll see what happens, but expect more competitiveness, more global, and more modern approach to things in Monterey Bay. With his track record, it could be very interesting. So that's that. Meanwhile, new acquisition for Monterey Bay. Let's take a look at Oakland Roots and what had happened with them, because they part ways with their technical director, Jordan Farrell, at the end of 2025 season, ending a 6-year run that helped shape the club's entire identity. He, played a major role with leading the Roots to the 2020 NISA final, 2021 USL Championship playoffs, including their first playoff win. He launched and developed the project 510 as a local talent pathway, which was very, very important, right? To getting those involved in the area in the pipeline for playing soccer at higher levels. He helped establish Oakland Soul Soccer Club, a top-performing USL Women's League side, and then, getting that authentically Oakland brand. And they really have a nice, solid club culture and brand, the Oakland Roots. So it's a big cultural shift for Oakland. Farrell was one of the foundational voices in building the club's identity. His departure likely signals maybe a new sporting direction ahead of 2026, so that fans should expect some more noticeable organizational changes in the coming weeks. So there you go. There you have it. We will be back next week talking and wrapping up Talk USL Season 2 as we have a chance to break down what will be the USL Championship final between Tulsa and Pittsburgh on CBS this Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 Pacific. That's it, everyone. Hope you are enjoying yourselves, and we'll talk soon. All the best.